Yo, everybody. Here is another episode of the Mind Body Marathon. On today's episode, we got a couple professional runners.
Yep.
Not me and Zach.
Oh.
So I'm your host, Dr. Leo. And we got old regular Zach Goulet.
Regular Joe.
And we've had Anthony on the show before, Anthony Camerieri, and he's on here. And now we got Katie Camarena on the show joining us. So say hello.
Hello.
Joining us all the way from Cali, and you guys are out in Colorado training right now?
Yes.
Boulder area?
Is it Boulder? So you decided to stay
For now.
for now?
Yeah.
Touchy subject.
Is it? Don't get into it.
It's not that touchy,
No?
at least to me.
Let's hear it.
I just didn't want to leave Colorado yet.
Okay.
She did.
He didn't tell me until. 2
Oh,
weeks ago.
now we're turning into a therapy session here.
But now we're staying until October.
I was just going along with it.
Where did you want to go?
Flagstaff.
Flagstaff? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But-
I just wanted to finish the season in Colorado.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I needed some more time in Colorado just to enjoy it. So
I mean, yeah, his points were valid. He just didn't say them. So
Anthony not talking about something?
I know,
Yeah, wow.
crazy.
Shocker. So you guys just raced the USA 5K champs. It was in conjunction with the Indy, the Indy
Mini.
Mini, the
Yeah.
Indy Mini, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's the one where you run the 500 track. But that's not where you guys ran. It was the 5K, right?
Yeah. It was just like the
Just
first
on-
mile and a half.
First mile and a
last
half.
mile and a half, basically.
And yeah, so Katie, you got fifth,
Sixth.
sixth.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And 10th. So we
Yeah,
got
10th.
two top 10 finishers here. Awesome.
Nice.
So tell us about the race.
It went a lot better than I thought it would, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I maybe was the only person who paid attention in the technical meeting the night before.
Why? How so?
I just went out with the group, and then maybe around mile and a half-ish, there was a bridge it had a big tangent on it. And they said in the meeting, like, you have the whole road, run the tangent.
Oh my gosh, that is such a thing of mine.
Did you run the tangent?
I did. It didn't help me as much as it helped her.
So, like,
But
with that,
Yeah.
was it like you like veered off from everyone else and everyone's like,
Yeah, the packs along the road, and I just went straight.
oh my
Dude.
gosh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it was a
That-
5-lane road, so it was like really wide.
It
That
was
is crazy.
so-
Like this happens to me all the time in marathons, and it's like nobody follows me,
yeah.
and it's crazy. Like you can, and people always finish, and they're like, my Garmin says it was like 27 miles.
Yeah.
It's like no, because I literally watched you. You didn't run the tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah, my watch was like almost exactly a 5K. So it's like,
Nice.
yeah, but went from like, I don't know, 15th up into like second on that tangent. And I
What?
was like, okay, I guess now we're in it. But
Oh my gosh, that's quite a sweep forward.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think the front people though thought I was like making a move. So that was kind of when the race really started. But yeah, it was fun from there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How'd the race pan out for you?
Same kind of thing. I mean, it's a huge pack. Went out in 425, which I mean everyone was capable of. And then came that tangent. It didn't seem like I moved up as much. Seemed like everyone, even though they're on the outside, they're running faster. Which of course I'm saving energy then. But
Yeah.
then we turned onto the bridge, and then that was about a little over a mile to go, and then I was having a hard time making the 90-degree turns. So I felt like every single 90-degree turn.
Because your leg.
Yeah, I maybe, I don't know.
It was also wet too.
yeah, it
Like
was
in the
wet.
Super shoes.
Then
are
we're in super
so-
shoes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm tall. So I feel like I
Step
lost
on
a
the
second every
paint.
time, and then lost a few seconds on one of the turns, and then I was just kind of out of it from there. Given if I was fit enough, I could have bridged the gap, but kind of lost a pack at one of the turns, and then just never caught him again.
Hmm.
So it was all right. Just with the last month I've had, I was happy with how I competed.
Yeah.
But I think I just lost just a little bit of fitness that ended up costing me a lot of places.
Yeah. Not quite as sharp and
Yeah.
twitchy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go under 5 flat pace even in first stride for over 3 weeks. So
Wow.
jumping into a 425 mile pace race.
Did you
hard.
feel a lot of lead in your legs?
I actually didn't feel that bad. I just like feel like I just couldn't go.
Yeah.
Which I did like a workout after the race and didn't even feel that tired during that.
So were you surprised with from based off of losing that fitness for the last couple of weeks? Were you surprised on how you finished?
I think it was about what I expected. Like
Yeah.
I think I probably lost about 10 seconds worth of time, which that would have got me into fourth.
Did that freak you out?
Not Not really.
No,
was
I think
kinda-
that's a great point. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I think a lot of athletes, a lot of runners feel like if they miss a day or miss a week or
Mhm.
miss whatever, that they're going to lose,
Yeah, but
all of this fitness. And
this
it's
is
just
old hat for Anthony though.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely built his confidence around not around performance and training necessarily. But so Katie, don't know a lot about you. So you're from California?
Yep.
So we're at Southern Cal?
Yeah, Southern California, Orange County.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then
Ooh.
what was the high school running scene like for you?
It was really competitive.
I would imagine.
Yeah. I was okay in high school, not like never made state or anything. So
Jeez.
yeah, it's pretty hard. I was in a really good section too. I think the person who was in my league won state one year. So
Wow.
Her mile PR was like 450 something. Which,
457.
yeah, which I mean,
Yeah.
in most states, that'll get you to states.
Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
That's
definitely
it.
would.
California's just huge. I mean, I was third in my league. It was 457.
Yeah, maybe like on like an occasional D1 year in Ohio that might not make it to state, but
Yeah.
for the most part that would make
That's
it in
getting you
Ohio.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Uh,
looked up one year like what the Ohio state meet was like. But
You're in it.
oh yeah, I probably would have been in it.
Yeah, you're in it.
But I feel like it was kind of good for me to have a slower build up and not a lot of pressure in high school.
So where did you start in college?
I went to UC Santa Barbara for my undergrad.
Yeah. And then did you end up at Portland State at one point?
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
I
what I
had
thought.
a cross country and indoor season.
Okay.
And transferred and went to Portland State.
And then at what point did you realize like, oh, I'm pretty good at this thing? Other than just like, sub 5 in high school is actually really solid, but perspective wise, when did that change?
It took a really long time. I would say I started to get better in college, but I was in a small conference, Big West, and it's still not, I didn't make regionals until my junior year. So
Yeah.
I was like getting competitive. And then I decided to redshirt my senior year, which people at Santa Barbara just didn't really redshirt. And then we had a coaching change and he was like, might as well redshirt your senior year and come back a fifth year. And then my fifth year was COVID. So it kind of derailed the plans. And I wouldn't say it was until my fifth year. I PR'd in the 1500 by like 12 seconds.
Nice.
Jesus.
Man, that's big.
Yeah.
That's big time.
Yeah. But I still didn't think I could like run professionally. I didn't make nationals still with that. So it wasn't until I was at Portland State that I was like, okay, I'm pretty good now.
Yeah.
And I made cross country nationals as an individual and then made indoor nationals in the mile and the 3K.
Okay.
What was that build up like?
Like
Was it different? Like, how was it different
Like,
from
what was
your...
it? Yeah.
it was, well, I had two different coaches at Santa Barbara. So that was two separate sort of lives there.
Yeah.
First, I was really wanted to be an 800, 1500 runner. And that was what I was training for. We did a lot of like high intensity. And then when our coach switched, I started gradually building up volume. By then in my fifth year, I was running 80 miles.
Okay.
So I feel like had I had a season in there,
Yeah.
I probably would have run faster, but I just wasn't racing at all. And then the Portland State transition was really different. I started doing like long tempos, long runs,
Oh yeah.
and just
Hence
lot
the
more
cross
volume.
success.
Yeah. Mhm.
So what's your fastest quarter?
It's from high school. I ran 57.
Oh geez.
Dang.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Were you on the 4x4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Obvious.
basically ran like the 800 mile and 4x4.
Yeah.
I had a 211 800 PR in high school. So
Did you run the 2 mile?
I did when I was like forced.
Oh yeah. See, when I was in high school, we would call that the gauntlet.
Yeah. There was a few times where I'd try to do all four, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, the 2
Did
miles.
you ever do all 4?
No, the most I ever did was a 16.8 and a 4x4.
Yeah.
Did you ever run the 2 mile? I feel like that was never really a thing
My
for you.
sophomore year, I ran it 2 or 3 times. And then that was it.
Yeah.
And then I did a time trial senior year cross country on 9:46, and that was my best in high school. So I don't know if I broke 10 like officially like the race
It's
in high
amazing.
school. Actually, well, I guess in senior year cross country, I ran I came through a galley and it came through in like 9:58. So I
Yeah.
guess I have broken
That
10 in high school.
technically, yeah.
There you go.
So from Portland State to what? What did you do after that? Did you just go, okay, I think I want to try to keep going at this?
Yeah. So I finished indoor, which is kind of a weird time. And my coach at Portland State was coaching Colleen Quigley at the time. She had just left BTC and was coming back from an injury. And he was like, you guys are right at the same spot in your training. Why don't you start working out together? And she was like, well, I'm going to Flagstaff. Why don't you just come with me? And I was like, okay, I'd love to do that. So I just went out to Flagstaff for a month, and I was like, I really want to keep doing this. I don't really know how we're going to make it work, but so that sort of started it. And then I went back to Portland State, and I was an assistant coach until March of the following year. And then I was like, I just want to go all in on running, but I didn't have any offers or anything. So I texted Colleen, and she was like, yeah, come back out to Flagstaff. So I went out there for 3 months that time, and then ran PRs in like every distance, and sort of started to get some attention from brands, and then ended up at Tinman the end of that year.
So when was that? What year was that then?
That was 2023 December was when so I'd graduated in February, March of 2022.
And then all of that build up and everything, that was all strength based, just kind of like you had done.
Yeah.
And then do you kind of still go back to the 15 every now and again, or do you kind of mostly focus on the 5 and the 10?
Mostly the 5 and the 10, but I'm definitely going to run a 1500 this year.
Yeah.
I think my PR is due for an upgrade. And
Where are you going to do that at?
Well, hopefully I can run a 5K and get myself into USAs. And then I think Portland Track Fest will be 1500.
Yeah, the 15.
Nice.
That's cool. Now, you mentioned you were going to go out to Ireland. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the plan is to run the Cork City Games and the Morton Games. Those are only 2 days apart. So I think it's like July 9th, July 11th. But it's a 3K at Cork and then a 5K at Morton. Last year, I didn't really want to go to Europe because I didn't feel like I was good enough. Just kind of seems like a waste to spend all that money and then run okay, and that's it. And fly home. But this year, I feel like I kind of leveled up to the point where I can kind of compete and kind of earned the right to have fun in Europe. So I decided to. It's a short trip. I think I'll only be on for like a week, but just kind of get
When is that?
Get a little European racing experience. It's like mid-July. So I think it's like 3 weeks before USA's. So that'll be my whole tune-up races, I guess.
How do you feel about that? Excited, nervous?
Excited. I mean, they're pretty low-stress races. It's like, it's not like hopefully I'll be qualified for USA's at that point. In the 5, and then it's really just try to run fast in the 3K just for fun, and then just try to win for, I guess, both of them. So I could have picked more races that were like more time trial type races, but that's not really what Cork and Morton are, just because it's usually kind of questionable weather.
Yeah, but I think it's good to get that exposure, and I think it's good to challenge yourself in those scenarios, because that's really what kind of makes that final championship savvy racer kind of thing. Where
I feel like I've had a bad streak of championship races recently, so I'd like to get more practice at that.
Just get something that can...
And the flexibility of it all, and dealing with the travel and the different food, and you know, there's all these the itineraries. Everything's kind of all different, and obviously the time change and all that. So a lot of factors are thrown at you, and I think that kind of gets you that next level of being a true pro, you know, and then obviously hopefully gives you good, you know, European experience, and you know, maybe in the future do an actual full tour or something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was looking at other races and it seemed like there's ones that I'd be interested in doing. I just didn't feel like
the culture of it all seems pretty awesome. Getting over into Europe and just like the interest in the sport and
the excitement around it. Everyone, it's just a different mindset.
Yeah, everyone I know has said they loved when they've gone to Europe to race.
So what do you guys think about the stateside meets and some of the changes there, and the newer series of things? What are people saying about that in the pro world?
I think
give us the dirt.
I don't know if there's that much dirt back. I assume we're talking about Grand Slam.
Yeah, Grand Slam stuff. Yeah.
I think everyone thinks it's good. I would say, I mean, people do. I mean, just like your average viewer is going to question the economic feasibility of it with all the huge prize money. Then you look at the stands in Jamaica and there's like no one there. So
that's my first thought.
I mean, I think it's everyone's first thought. But I don't know anyone that's raced it that like thinks it was bad. I think everyone.
So everybody's having a good experience.
Yeah.
I think all the people who are racing it are really enjoying it, but I don't know. I was hearing some mixed things at the 5K. Just people feeling like it's it's all the same people who get invited, and sort of the rich get richer. And
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's my other point is that like
Yeah.
sort of how does the process of selection work with that?
no idea. We're not getting
Yeah.
to come.
We're not good enough yet to
Yeah.
really know. I think they just reach out to you. Like I'm sure if you have like an agent,
And they just go down the
Yeah.
list until they get the numbers filled.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, it seems like at least for the men, you have to be able to run like at slowest would be like 13, 10, 5K to
yeah,
even qualify to be in the selection process.
Wow.
But yeah, it's kind of the same. Like she said, it's kind of the rich get richer. Like
yeah.
which I mean, that's kind of how every sport is.
Right.
But that's
Yeah.
that was one of the big problems in the 90s. And there was a huge drop off between, you know, what like Kennedy and Todd Williams and these guys and Spivey and you know, Robert Gary and all those guys and how good they were. And then like basically nobody else was professional. Like there was really no other arena until really honestly Hanson's came in. I mean, I think they were one of the first like sub-elite, sub-pro groups to kind of like be developmental and kind of a little bit more blue collar. But it's like that's all you really saw was those guys. And even at USA, it would be like a massive drop off. It'd be like Todd and Bob battling and then like a minute behind somebody else or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a little sad to see that going back to that, but I think it's sustainable because the overall number of runners right now is just higher. And I just feel like what's coming out of college and state right now in high school and everything is just so much better perspective wise relative to what it was in the 90s.
Would that put the pressure on other organizations to try to match it though?
But I think there's
make it more accessible.
Maybe there's, I don't know about pressure, but I do think people can see an opportunity for even setting up regional kind of meets like this and kind of going back to the, you know, older like all comers meets ideas and trying to make that more of into like a fest.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, kind of like what Joe Eby was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was he talking about?
Just creating like, so the last chance meet at Boulder and Wallace is like becoming very popular because they have such a phenomenal track. It's a fast track. And so he eventually has this vision of like creating like a track festival around it where it's like 2-day thing and you have sprints during the afternoon, you have distance carnival at night and kind of like all comers can come compete.
Yeah.
And make it into something where people are going to guarantee run fast times because it's a fast track. That's why everyone goes there.
Yeah, I feel like road races can pay the pros so well because they have 50,000
the
people
numbers.
running. So I don't know if you could have that same scale on the track, but
you can if you set it up
try.
as a multiple day thing and then you have enough events and open it up to like masters runners and you know all that sort of stuff and then it'd be but you can't have like multiple pro races. You know, you might just be able to have like a pro 5K or something like that and go 10 deep, but it's not like you can have like a full gamut of distance races because you would obviously be able to fund that. But like the adult track night that Portage Lakes puts on, they pretty easily were able to pay out for the mile and do like a pro mile. And really, honestly, nobody showed up, but it was just poor timing in the year in terms of how that worked last year.
Yeah.
But they'll have like the first year we did the adult track night, they had how many 4x4s?
Oh,
they had like 40 4x4s.
It was unreal.
Like, and you think of the numbers on that, like everybody's paying like $20-$30 an entry but it's like cool to be like a 50-year-old and run a 4x4 again.
Yeah.
And people would do that. And then they would hang around to watch the pros run. So the interest is absolutely there. And the genius, what they did was, you know, they even like had field events and they hired out officials and everything. And it became it's coming on its third year and it's super successful. So
and they have it dialed in and it's fun. It's nice.
And she's like, we want to make this more into a consistent thing and even have it go to other cities and cause they're making a lot of money on it. And it's real easy to just skim off the top and have a pro race. But then again, it's like, you got to get the exposure to the elites and it's the timing in the year. And you know, so, but I feel like that's a fun experience and kind of goes back to, you know, when the original like Portland track, because I ran Portland Track Fest, I think at the second or third year they did it, and it was still pretty rudimentary, but I could see the vision of where it was going to end up, and so.
It's there.
Katie, tell us what are your PRs? So fill us in on where you're at right now on the dial.
I'll go 800 up. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
800 is 205. That's from Santa Barbara days.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm ever breaking that one. 1500 is 408. That is from the year I left. No, that's from 2023.
Okay.
So not that long ago. My mile is 4:29 from the same season.
Okay.
5K is 15:14 from the same season. I ran a 3K PR indoor this year. That's 8:53, but I didn't do indoor at Santa Barbara. So indoor is so new to me and I don't really like it. And then my 10K PR I just ran at the 10 is 31:45.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty fun to do that one.
Yeah, I can see on the scale of that how you want to get that 15 down to a relevant mark.
Yeah.
Which you can definitely do, obviously.
Yeah, she just ran 15:24 at the road 5K, so I think the 5K is probably going to come down pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if you move out to Flagstaff,
there you go.
It's 100% going to come down.
Yeah.
So come on.
All those PRs, not all of them. Most of them are from when I was living in Flagstaff. So. Anthony's going to run PRs too.
Yeah. Hopefully.
He will.
What do you like about Flag versus being in Colorado?
It's mostly about the elevation, just being higher, but I don't know. I kind of like the running there more too. I'm probably going to get hate for that, but I think it's better.
I do too, actually. Yeah. And I do notice the difference in elevation for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like the trails there are a lot better. I also kind of prefer like a hillier run most of the time. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a grind and I like to get after it. So it just kind of fits better with my training, I think. Yeah. And you can drop down. You can go down to Cottonwood, Phoenix. Can't do that in Colorado. We're stuck.
She's staring at me as she says
I know she is.
I'm like trying to
I want to hear what you got to say back to this.
Well, I've heard of it. I mean, I agree with everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's why agreeing to move in 5 months.
Yeah. This is the dilemma of runners right here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the very first world problem.
Yeah.
What running mecca do you have to?
Well, it's like people dream of like wanting to move out to like Boulder and like Flagstaff. Like, I would love nothing. And then you guys are like bickering about where to train either in Boulder or Flagstaff.
What was always so weird to me is that interest that the Brits have with Albuquerque.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, I don't understand like why Paula Radcliffe always went there and kind of made that popular. And I never understood that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think
because it's kind of like it's the same elevation as Boulder, but it's not anywhere near as pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I've only run on like one trail there, and it was nice, but like, I don't know. I mean,
is there a lot of running trails, like a lot of opportunity, like to?
I don't think there is.
No, it's just like one trail, and we're like maybe a couple.
I'm sure there's some dirt roads.
Yeah.
You
can just run up to the Satellite Mountain.
Get some radiation from all the bombs they set off down there. Awesome. So what's the rest of your season like?
Running a 5K at, I forget what that one is. Sound running at Track Fest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like combined with the USATF meet this year. That's the end of this month. Hopefully run a qualifier for USA's there. And then probably Yakima Mile if my coach lets me do it just for fun. And then Portland Track Fest, 1500 after that. And then not sure if I'll do anything before USA's.
Yeah.
Just train.
Got to get the 5K out of the way though. And then.
What do you think you're going to have to run to get in?
I think the auto time this year is 15:09, just under 15:10, which I think hopefully I'll be able to do next time I run one. So yeah. But I think I feel like every year it scratches back pretty far. I think you're safe in the 15:20s, but I haven't run a 5K since trials. So
yeah. Do you guys like running at Eugene?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it twice now. It's good. I mean, like
it's
the
just set up for
facilities are
track
so
and
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I think it would be. Is it pretty awesome to race in that stadium relative to some other stadiums?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I've never had it with like a packed.
You've always been kind of like on those off days.
Yeah, I didn't make the final last year, so I was just on like day one of the second session.
Yeah, it was like half filled that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was
decent energy.
still more than I've ever had.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'd be awesome to race there like on the final day.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it getting old and like flying out there for 10 years straight for USA the trials, but Not there yet.
It's like every time I go, I'm like annoyed that I go out there. Like, but then you get out there and you're like, God, this really is nice. Like once you're in the stadium and once you're in that, you know, that arena and you're just, you know, the medical tent and everything there, it's just like it's like perfect. But then like you like look at ticket prices and hotels and you're like, this is just so
it's
dumb.
the venture out there. But like once you're there, you're like, this is like the only place on the planet that has like, it's all for running. Like Track Town Pizza and the what's the ice cream place that everyone like loses their mind about?
Prince Bucklers.
Yeah, like after the meet we go to Prince Bucklers, and it's like everything is just like about running, and it's just...
I love Prince Bucklers. I'm fully drinking the Eugene Kool-Aid. So
whatever, it's fun.
I feel like it's fun. You just go for a week and you make your whole life about running, and then then it's over.
Yeah.
Then you leave kind of traumatized and forget about it.
It does kind of almost feel like another country too.
It does.
It feels like you're in Northern Europe, you know, like you're in Finland or something like that, you know, with the scenery and the sensibility, and it is just so different from really anywhere else in the US. Yeah. And I think the stadium vibe is pretty cool too, because everybody's true track fans. Like everybody know, like everybody's into like the high jump and you know the triple jump and then the 10K. They all know, you know, all that sort of stuff, and so the interest I think is pretty cool as well.
Yeah, well, it's like the fan reaction, like even after like the meet is over, and like when we would leave the field, and you hear people talking about shot put, and like the technical side of shot put, and you're like, nowhere anywhere else in this world would people talk about like Ryan Krauser's spin or like angle of his throw other than at Eugene. So it's,
I mean, they're a huge board too. Like nowhere else has a stadium where you get like live stats like that.
Well, that's my other point is that the thing that I love most about that experience is that when I'm in the stadium, I don't ever have to look at my phone.
Yeah.
Like everything is like announced to you and listed, and they're running the stats of the triple over here. They're running the high jump here. They're running the screen there. You're seeing the splits. You're just as a fan, you literally don't have to look at anything else.
Yeah.
But the event itself, and that is so cool. And you can tell like it's built by true track fans for that. It's not like another stadium where it's like, okay, we'll put a track in here, and then you know it's sort of retrograded. It's like built specifically for that.
How
I was gonna say, even when you're running, you get all the stats as well, like mid race.
Yeah, everyone's looking at the scoreboard. Yeah,
you can like they have your exact like miles per hour,
and
like
it
at all
shows
times.
like distance back,
so
liters and stuff. So, I mean,
was that unique to get used to?
I'm sure.
Or did you immediately fall into that?
I mean, I was trying to. I was leading the second heat to try to make it fast enough to get all the time qualifiers in. So I was very hyper focused on all those stats to make sure I was running fast enough.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. How so like your guys's like progression to being pro, I think is kind of similar, where it was like didn't qualify to state. Obviously, like you or like you did, but like the adversity of like injury and like slow progression and all this stuff. How has like your guys' mindset changed from like that first time stepping on like pro track being, or even like at Eugene, to now being a couple years into it? How has that mindset shifted from like that first time stepping on to now to being more like business like and being like, I'm all in on the stats? Like how does that transition for like a runner like you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I tried not to like over hype the first few. Like my first pro race, I mean, I guess I was still at Ole Miss, was the USA's 2023. I mean, maybe I let the moment get too big. I didn't like run as well as I think it could have, but at the end of the day, it's just you're preparing your body to run as fast as you can.
Is it much more of a calculated process moving forward to now than it was even like that couple years ago, like that 2 years ago?
I'd say it's about the same.
Is it?
If anything, I've gotten lazier with all like the small stuff, so maybe it's less calculated.
That's all right.
What about you?
I think it was really hard for me. I feel like I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and I also, when I made my first USAs, I was trying to get sponsored, so much pressure on me that I put on myself. Like, oh, I have to make the final, even though it's, you know, I'm just out of college. I don't think anyone's expecting that from me, and I feel like it was really hard to
Do you feel like a lot of people that you interact with have that same feeling? Like now, like going into that pro world?
Not always.
No.
I feel like I just didn't have championship racing experience ever. Like even the first year I made nationals indoor, or the only year I made nationals, I just put so much pressure on myself to win the mile. I was ranked 3rd and I was like, I have to win the mile. And I think that mindset going in, where other people are like, oh, this is my 4th.
Yeah.
You know, they've had experience indoor, outdoor. It just got to me. And then I think, yeah, just never being around those people. It's like, these are people you've looked up to, you've wanted to run with, and now you're with them and it's like, I don't feel like I belong here. So
what's the mindset now?
A few people, but
for you. So what's the mindset now for you? Like when you approach a race?
I feel like it's gotten a lot easier. I feel like as the times have come down and I've made last year was my 3rd USA's. No, it's 3rd, I think. Yeah. So I think you just like get used to it and got to remind yourself that you belong, and you know, you can take up space on the track, and you're just as good as all of these people, and everyone's beatable too. You never know.
Well, I think that like talks to the caliber of like racing now and like runners in it. It's like it's anyone's game, you know, like for the most part, like it's anyone's game. And like having had the pleasure to work with Clayton, you know, it was more about, rather than just like, all right, I got Bryce in my heat, I got Isaiah Harris in my heat. It was about the calculation of when to make those moves, because they all know that they're all capable of doing whatever they need to do. And it's just like who can show up that day and execute the best. And like, you know, it's always fascinating to me when you see like newer runners get into the circuit, and that first race or like those first couple races you get into it, you're in the mix, and then now it becomes more of like maybe like less about the small stuff, but more about like, I know I can run with these people. I just have to give myself that chance. And it's not about,
well, there's the idea that you're applying more of a pressure on the race. Like you're integrating more into the race rather than just being a part of the race. Like you're actually changing the race. Like you in the 5K, like you made the difference, right? You essentially paid attention and you did the right move and you cut the tangent perfectly. And so it's like, now all of a sudden what you do matters. And that's a cool realization when you actually like, oh wow, like I'm pushing people around here, you know, it's like pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like before it was like, I was just letting races happen to me. And then when you realize like, I can affect the outcome 100%. Here for myself.
Yeah. This is why I do all this work.
Right.
So we are having to come to a close. Our guests today are on their way to the Cavs game here. So we're gonna get them going to the Cavs game so we can get a win tonight. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Any final little tidbits that you want to tell the audience that's listening?
You got anything?
No.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I like it. Well, thanks everybody for listening, cool. And till another day. Thank you. Dr. Leo here. Be sure to check out my new book, Faster Without Fail, Your Guide to Overcoming Injuries and Running Faster Than Ever. It is now available on Amazon. You could read reviews on the Amazon. You can check out what other people have said about it. But basically, if you want to revolutionize your running form and better understand how to stay injury-free within the sport, this is your guide. Feel free to reach out and let us know what you think of the book. I would love to hear your feedback. But again, please check it out on Amazon. Faster Without Fail. Appreciate it. Dr. Leo here. If you want to catch me in another setting, be sure to check out my YouTube page, Running Rehab, where you will find exercises on how to stay healthy with running, how to improve your running form, and a bunch of other tips and tricks on how to get over common injuries. So again, Running Rehab